The lofty goal of President John F. Kennedy's Apollo program was realized when it was able to successfully land humans on the Moon for the first time in history. In spite of the enormous scientific and technological success, NASA did not immediately launch manned flights to the Moon after the mission was completed. This essay delves into topics such as financial restraints, shifting goals, geopolitical considerations, and technological improvements in order to investigate the myriad of causes that led to NASA's decision not to participate in lunar exploration projects. Constraints on resources. Following the completion of the Apollo program, NASA made the decision not to pursue any more manned lunar flights due in large part to the tremendous costs that were incurred as a result of the program. The Apollo missions were extremely expensive, and as a result, significant financing was required for them during a period of economic instability when public concerns regarding the budget were growing. The Apollo program's budget reached its all-time high of nearly $5.5 billion in 1970, which is roughly equivalent to $40 billion today. Because of this huge investment, as well as the pressure from the public to redirect resources to social programs and the Vietnam War, there was less of a willingness to pursue moon exploration missions. Alterations in national priorities. One further significant element that contributed to NASA's decreased focus on lunar missions was an adjustment in the nation's overall priorities. During the time of the Cold War space race, the objective of the Apollo program was to illustrate the technological superiority of the United States. After this goal was accomplished with the successful landing of Apollo 11 on the Moon, there was a shift in public opinion and national focus towards other matters, such as worries regarding the environment and the welfare of society. It became imperative for NASA to redirect its efforts towards other scientific and technological endeavors as a direct result of the deteriorating support for lunar exploration among the general public and the resulting political pressures. The major motive for Apollo missions was primarily political in nature and symbolic in nature. Nevertheless, technological breakthroughs were also an extremely important component of these missions. During the Apollo program, the scientific goals of the moon landings were successfully accomplished. These objectives included conducting experiments and collecting lunar samples. Therefore, going back to the Moon with only a few scientific goals in mind could not have been worth the enormous cost required. Instead, the emphasis switched to capitalizing on the technological advances that were made during the space program in order to continue space exploration. This included the development of the Space Shuttle and Skylab, in addition to a growing interest in the possibility of sending manned trips to Mars. Considerations regarding international politics. NASA's decision-making process was also heavily influenced by the geopolitical environment in which the agency operated. The United States of America and the Soviet Union were engaged in a competition for supremacy and global influence during the decades of the 1960s and 1970s as part of the Cold War. The Apollo missions served as a potent symbol of American triumph and successfully demonstrated the democratic capitalism system's superiority to communism. This was accomplished through the mission's successful completion. After the United States achieved this significant win, continuing the expensive lunar missions to explore the Moon became less tempting from a geopolitical perspective. After that, NASA switched its attention away from purely competitive missions to the Moon and towards collaborative endeavors, such as the Apollo-Soyuz test project, multinational space stations. The real reasons behind NASA's decision to not send manned flights to the Moon include a mix of financial restraints, changed national objectives, advances in technology, and geopolitical considerations. As a result of the large cost of the Apollo program, shifting public mood, the requirement to concentrate on new scientific frontiers, and the development of new geopolitical dynamics, NASA decided to investigate alternative pathways rather than return to the Moon. However, recent initiatives such as the Artemis program highlight a renewed interest in lunar research and the prospective re-establishment of human journeys to our nearby celestial neighbor. These developments have reignited excitement and advanced our understanding of the Moon and other topics.